Name is Mish, and this is this new video that today I woke up and I was just like, you know what, it's time to make another one. Why not? It has been a while since my last one. Um, so I was thinking, so genuinely just thinking about what should I talk about today, what should I discuss, and or just generally what should I really talk about with myself, really, because that's what these videos are. But I immediately, what sprang to mind was the idea of discouragement, about how easy it is for us to, encounter a struggle in our lives or something that does pull us down, or it could either be an encounter with someone that we don't know, or a friend or a colleague or someone at work, and we immediately feel, it could be something that we did wrong, a mistake that we made. It could be literally anything, a long day, a hard night, anything. But those small instances that we encounter in our life that can really kind of slow us down. And I'm sure usually I guess you'd relate with that. Instances where we feel pretty down. There, I guess what I want to discuss today was how we can spend less time in that period of discouragement and more time, looking forward and building up from where we made our mistake and where we fell. So I guess where this whole idea kind of originated from was from um, a talk that I had a wonderful talk with my youth group um, leaders and friends, and yesterday, and we talked about humility and abandonment. And in that talk, I learned a whole of a lot more than before. And I'm very excited to learn these things, because really, with anyone, living life nowadays, we have really we're always on this search to kind of improve ourselves and to build ourselves up and to find more ways to learn how to cope with things and deal with things when things get tough. So, look, I think eventually, at the end of the day, we all want to have a strong character. We want to have something that we can fall back upon, and the strength of mind, strength of character, um, and to be able to hold for our own, and not just for ourselves but for others as well, and to be able to support others when they need that help. And we're just to really, for us to help someone else, we should be able to help ourselves first, right? So um, that's pretty much where I got this idea from. So it's pretty new idea. So where do I begin with that? I guess when it comes to this discouragement in general, look, it's easy for us. For example, let's say that I went to uni and I got my results back, and I realized that I had made a mistake on one thing, and I was a bit disappointed. And look, I don't know if you guys have that, but sometimes that can happen where you're a bit discouraged with your marks, or it could be with a passing comment from a friend, or even just, and you think that it could be, you're like hoping it's sarcasm, but you're like, I'm not sure if it's sarcasm, and you're like, oh, you're second guessing everything. So um, taking those both examples into mind, it's easy to feel like crap during those times. Like, it's very easy to feel like that. And to be honest, to be able to be super resilient and on the spot, and to think straight after that, oh gosh, like, I'm going to be positive about this, I'm going to take this in a completely positive light, is somewhat, I would say not really feasible. Like, it's not that easy to take something negative and turn it into something positive straight away, like instantly. Um, I mean, it can be done, but it takes a lot of, I would say, time and effort and strength of mind and character to actually build it up. And it can do. I'm sure it can be done, but I think with time, it can happen. But usually, when we react to those things that are negative, we take it to heart. We take it very much personally sometimes. And look, it really depends on how you react to those things personally, like to negativity in general, because everyone has a different reaction to it. Some people have short bursts of anger. Some people, kind of have to leave the situation. Some people just ghost and like just be silent and just withdraw. Some people, like silently carry it within themselves, and it harbors like a great deal of weight within them. Um, and some people can just be very like hot tempered and say what's on their mind unfiltered. So I guess those are just some ways that we can react to negativity when we encounter it. I'm sure there are other ways as well, but those are, I'm sure, the main ways. Um, but I guess what we should be focusing on is how can we spend less time feeling sorry for ourselves when things get really tough? Because it's super easy for you to fall back into a rhythm of just like, oh, why me? Like, what's like, what have I done? Like, why does this keep happening to me? To get into that mind state and to think of, why, and question things and to feel negative, and it isn't going to help, right? So, um, some ways that we can help kind of get out of that state of mind, that frame of mind, would be to first of all be open to the fact that we are limited. As humans, we are limited. We can't do everything right. We're not perfect. We make mistakes, but that's okay. Um, that is, something that I can say pretty easily, and you can say that too. You can very much repeat that after me. But to believe it and to believe what you're saying and to live those words out takes so much more effort and so much more time for it to kind of resonate and marinate, and to for it to really hit a resounding wall in your soul, and for it to be really digested. Um, but it's important. It's important to know that, look, I was speaking from like from my youth group, and my perspective. God made us the way we're meant to be. Like we sometimes be like, oh, why are we? Why am I socially awkward? Why do I lack the courage to do this and that? Why am I? Why do I feel sad? Why am I like this? You can ask a lot of questions, and you can ask God like, what, why, which is fine, right? But at some point, if we know that we are meant to be the way that we are right now, it makes a hell of a lot, everything a hell of a lot clearer. Um, and you know, I guess it's important to, there's some things it's important to question. And I would argue that a lot of things are it's healthy to question, I would say, even because the more you start questioning these things, the more curious you are to kind of search for the truth. And that's important for all of us. I'm sure at an individual kind of perspective, we all hunger for the truth. Um, and, that's, yeah, well, I, I think that, look, it's important to know that you are meant to be the way that you are right now, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's one thing, and I think that also stems from humility, and to find really like that you aren't everything. We aren't everything. We aren't superheroes, and I think that's where, like, I mean, we have this, I would say, a very, I don't want to say unhealthy fascination, but a fascination with those people, these, like, like mythological slash like hypothetical slash um, fantastical personalities and characters and creatures that exhibit this really amazing sense of courage and determination and focus and concentration and courage. And we think, oh, and we're always so stunned and emotionally just moved by these things. For example, let's say, Wonder Woman, or um, Black Panther, for example, like their courage and their sense of self and sense of identity and sense of who they are, what they stand for, is so strong that we yearn for that. We yearn for that, and I think it's the character is quite impressive for who they are. Their personality definitely does help for us to like them as people. But at the same time, I think there's a deeper level underneath that we kind of we want to be like them. At the most basic level, we want to have something like a belief that's so strong in what we're meant to do, our destiny, that that's the sort of connection that we would want to have. um, but it's and I think that viewpoint can sometimes cure the fact that we want to be humble, that we want to be, that we want to, that we lack nothing, because it's so easy to think that when you see people that are greater than you, that you think that are greater than you, when really they're really not. We all have different strengths. um, let's say, for example, like a mathlete and myself, like, I people who know me that I just math is not my best friend. For simple terms, it's really not. I struggle quite a lot with math, always have. But I look, someone who's a mathlete, and I'm not some, this is this hypothetical person who's a mathlete, could also then have problems with, social interactions. Whilst myself, I find that I love social interact. Like I love being in social places and talking to people and approaching people. Like that's stuff that I love. So, um, like everyone has different strengths, and that's okay. That's fine. One is not better than the other. One is not worse than the other. It is just, it is what it is. Um, so I think this is a very. I say this, and I don't think I've even really touched the surface of that because it's quite a deep topic to really kind of delve into. But at the end of the day, it really, it takes time to understand these things. It takes time to believe them, because sometimes it's very hard to. When push comes to shove, you think, like a mathlete is better than me, like a person who is has more courage is better than me, and person, just to find, um, because at the root of discouragement comes the sense that, ooh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. But who are you not good enough for? I think that's the question we should be asking. I then kind of answer that question by asking you, is it you think, are you not good enough for yourself? Because you have kind of given yourself like a bar that you need to raise, that you need to reach. I need to be this good. I need to achieve this much. I need to have this much money. I need to have this many friends. I need to have this and that strength. Um, and I need to be a bit more courageous. I need to be put myself a bit more out there. These things are very natural for us to think about and to talk about and to want, and to desire. But really, we all have limits, and I think it's very hard to kind of to remember this, because sometimes in those moments of discouragement, we feel, oh God, I'm not good enough. Oh, like why'd I do that? Like crap. Like, oh, I'm such a crappy person. Yeah, yeah, of course. Of course we're like that. Of course we make mistakes. Of course we think that about ourselves, but it won't help yourself or you or people around you for you to stick to that frame of mind, because what's going to happen is that you're going to feel more and more lost in yourself, and um, you'll feel unhappy. And like I keep thinking sometimes even that, look, I'm at this point, I'm 22, I'm turning 23 in a couple of months. Shakara, yep, it's happening. But really, I'm, I've realistically got less than 80 years. Realistically, um, I would beg to say about 70. I would say about, I'm being optimistic if I'm saying 70. Realistically, between 60 and 60 and 65 probably years that I've got left, and I've already done a third of that. Um, nearly the third. So, not a third, nearly. See what I mean? Mathletes. That's right. Not that good with numbers. You can do the math. I'll invite you to do the math for me. But yeah, it's a big percentage. That's what I was trying to drive at. But it's a big chunk of time that that I've already lived out, and a lot of those years I wasn't even sure, I wasn't even consciously living life. I was just existing. And I mean that, when I mean that, I mean I'm talking about like between the time I was born, like when I was like 9. I didn't really understand life. Not that at 10 I did, but somewhere around that age, maybe 12. I kind of just, you know, but I think in a way that's kind of like bliss. But that's another topic. But I guess, yeah, I mean, we don't have so much time to be feeling sad and to be feeling, discouraged, because like you're so much more than that. Like you're so much more than that. If we accepted our flaws, if we accepted our imperfections, where would we be? Where would you be if you accepted your shortcomings? I think that's important that we meditate upon that idea, that thought, that where would we be? Um, I hope that this video doesn't make you realize how much time you've lost or wasted and then feel sad. because then this would be the cause of a discouragement. I hope that that doesn't happen, but look, we're human. We feel discouraged from the smallest thing that happens. Whether that be your parents comparing you to someone else, to your siblings, to your friends. Like, why aren't you more like this person? Why don't you do this? That might be my own thing in my culture. That's kind of a thing that happens with Sri Lankans. But it's important that we realize that we are not, although we come from our parents, and our parents are, like they literally brought us to life. Sometimes they make mistakes too. We're human. Imagine us. Like, I mean, people have kids between when they're like 28, 29, or like even younger than that, 26 to like 35, 38. People have kids in that time. If you're my age, that's less than 10 years from now. That's like, imagine you having kids and then bringing them up from 10 years. And how much have you grown as a person? This, I would say, like, put yourself in the other person's shoes as well. If you are trying to figure out, why did they say that? Why are they being mean? Or why did they do that to me? If you put yourself into the other person's shoes, it can help to understand the why. And it could also then make you understand the reasoning behind that person's actions. And that can be very helpful for the future as well. Look, I myself will be looking at this video at some point very soon, I'm sure, and I'll need to hear back what I just said and the advice that I've given. It's because it's inevitable, right? Like, even me saying this right now, giving this talk, having this discussion, I very well know that I will feel discouraged at some point very soon, and it's not really if, it's more of like when. And I'll definitely be listening to this myself when I inevitably also forget my own advice. So I guess this is probably the best reason I would want to encourage anyone who's watching this. When you feel discouraged, for when you have those moments of realization, or those moments where you feel enlightened, or you have an idea, write them down. Like, put them down on something, whether that be, make a video like this, or make a video journal, make a diary, have a journal a bit, like scrapbook, all those ideas. And I'm speaking from a creative perspective because I think I'm a creative. I guess I am in that field. But look, it can be completely non-creative if that's what you think works for you. Just, it's important that we get this stuff out. Like, leaving it in ourselves and leaving it to fester isn't always going to help us. And a shout out to my boyfriend Ame. I think he's helped me heaps to kind of understand what it's like to kind of go through discouragement, and what it's the difficulty of the struggle of, like, things that we encounter in our lives. And people in your life that you think like they're kind of with you and they're kind of gliding along that life journey with you, and you're just like, oh yeah, like, it's good to have someone next to you when you're going through things like this. But I mean, any relationship is a wonderful thing, but more than that, I think the time that we put into our relationships and our friendships, we help each other to grow. And it's really important that whenever we meet someone, or we're friends with someone who's going through something that's difficult, that we are going to be with them, that we're going to be like, encourage them throughout the journey, because that's what we're meant to do. And sometimes it's so beautiful. I feel that everyone has a different perspective on things. Everyone has a different opinion. Everyone approaches things so differently, and everyone approaches their problems so differently. It's an amazing thing for us to think about how much we can really help each other out. When someone can't see something in a particular way, or you can't see, like a purpose, something in a particular way, it's good to know that you have friends, you have family, you have people in your life that can help you with that, can help you kind of seek a bit of clarity in your life to whatever extent. And look, the people who are discouraged right now, and look, I will be one of those pretty soon, I'm sure. Just to never give up. Just to never, like, you are full of amazing things, and we are never limited. We are not limited. We are fine. We are good. We are meant to be us. We are meant to have the flaws that we have. We are meant to encounter the things we're meant to encounter, and those things will shape us and form us. Like Michelangelo to the Madonna or to the David. I do not know which one. All I know is that he made this amazing sculpture and he formed it with his bare hands and maybe a bit of tools and but you get the gist. Like I would say that God kind of forms us and creates us and molds us and shapes us to being who we are. And that includes the little cracks and the little misshapen bits and the bits that fall off. That's what it's all included, is the whole package. And the sooner that we realize that that's what it's supposed to be, instead of us covering up and masking it all up and trying to kind of soothe and make it look pretty, the sooner we understand that we have to make peace with ourselves, make peace with who we are in general. So anyway, guys, it's now been, this is a 21-minute video. I realize this is kind of a little bit too long as per usual. I'm so sorry about that. But I hope you guys have a good week. And that I hope that I get to talk to you guys soon. And a new video will come out maybe within the next 2-3 weeks. Hopefully. But stay good, stay peaceful. I will talk to you soon. Bye.